Good morning, my Lightworker Collective. How is everyone doing today? This is going to be a reading intended to give some guidance for the month of July. We're going to start right away with the reading, and we're going to set the intention right now with Spirit guiding us, of course, to understand what message the Lightworkers who are drawn to this reading, what messages do they need to hear for July to aid them in their service to others and their service to the light? How can they tap in for those that are just becoming aware and for those who have been aware for some time? Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Let's see. Okay, my friends, so we got two cards flying out. We got growth and opening. So growth says, heal old wounds. Soul is ever present. Restore connection to spirit. Your healing helps the world live fully, live freely. And opening says, heal old stories. So healing seems to be the name of the game. Practice self-talk that's loving. Practice loving self-talk. Release personal judgments. You are limitless. Be authentic. So if that's not a beautiful message for the light workers, I'm not sure what is. These cards are reflective, so it's hard to show you the images. This is for growth. Kind of looks like a regeneration, a purification, a healing, if you will. And this card does talk about healing old wounds. So it looks like for July, our work is going to center around healing ourselves, and that will in turn help to heal others and the world. Now, there's the other card. It's a little bit harder to see because it's dark colors. There you go. Hopefully you can see it now. It's opening up. The chest is opening here. And so this is opening. So we have opening and growth, my friends, to set the intention for this reading. So that really, really resonates. It's time to heal these old stories. Look at that. Heal old stories and heal old wounds. Top of the description on both of these cards from Autumn Sky. The self-talk, you guys, and restoring that connection to spirit, releasing personal judgment, and understanding that when you heal, you help the world heal. And it's all connected, guys. It's all connected. So opening and growth are beautiful intention setting cards to have for our reading today. I'm going to leave those in the forefront there. You can't really see them, but there we go. Now you can see them a little bit better. Okay, thank you for those messages, Spirit. Now I'm going to start with the tarot. We're going to do an alignment reading to see what the light workers need to bring into balance. It's so funny, every time I shuffle, some of the candles go out. As long as all of them don't go out. So yeah, let's see here. What is the guidance for my Lightworker Collective for July? Now, bearing in mind tonight is the full moon in Capricorn. It is the last super full moon of the year. So it's a good chance to really set your intentions and do exactly what these cards are suggesting, where we release the things that are no longer serving us by healing some old stories and changing the self-talk. Remembering that spirit is always present and that you can always restore your connection to spirit, okay, by living fully, living freely, being authentic, and remembering that you are limitless. I really, really like those two messages to start our reading. Okay, so what do the Lightworker Collective need to bring into balance? Well, we see the Ace of Swords in reverse. So whenever I see the Ace of Swords in reverse, it really does remind me of self-talk. There is a communication that needs to start fresh, my Lightworkers. You need to start talking to yourself in a way that is more productive and positive and loving. Okay, the self-talk here is an issue, and there seems to be some thinking that is not terribly productive as well. So the self-talk and the self-thoughts, what is the inner story that you're telling yourself right now, light workers? What are you telling yourself as you're waking up, as you're transmuting pain to joy, fear to love? What is the inner dialogue right now? That is what needs attention, is that inner dialogue and the communication, the way we speak to ourselves. This card really is an initiation. It's an ace, but it's in reverse, which suggests that it's pointed right back at you. So the conflict that you're about to face, my dear light workers, is an inner conflict. It's an inner conflict of adjusting this tone that you take with ourselves. And I say ourselves because, you know, this is relevant for all of us. There are times when we are not kind to ourselves. We are not loving to ourselves. What are these old stories that need healing? These old wounds are they still defining you? Is that what's going on? Are they still defining you? You need to set yourself free. And it's going to start with how you speak to yourself. It's going to start with how you believe about yourself. These personal judgments, they've got to go. They are limiting you, and you are limitless. So there is this need to heal old stories and wounds, my friends. And it's going to start with how we address the self. How are you thinking? What are your I am statements? What are your I can statements? You know, are they I cannot statements right now? We need to think of I can, I am, I feel. You know, what are you going to let go of in July, my light workers? Something's got to go here. Now, I see that because something's got to go, another sword card, we see the Four of Swords, which is a time of needing to withdraw and heal. Those are the primary messages when you see the Four of Swords. When it's in reverse, it suggests to me that this is challenging for you, that this may be something you're trying to escape. This may be something you're trying to avoid. Or it could just be that it's something you don't quite understand yet. It could be very well something you just don't quite understand. What do I need to withdraw from? Whom do I need to withdraw from? Why do I need to withdraw at all? And what are these things that need to heal? This could be in reverse because you're just genuinely not sure what your next step is. Now, in order to sort of take the advice of this card, which is describing in terms of the position it lands in, it describes the process you're on. So right now, my dear light workers, you are indeed on the process of healing some of these old wounds, but you need to take solitude and withdraw from the external world in order to do that, and in order to adjust this talk here. Notice in both cases that the sword is pointing right at you, you know. In both of these cases, because, you know, of the nature of the air energy in these cards, you're really being pulled into an introspective state of mind where it's time to adjust the self-talk. It's time to evaluate what kind of messages you're saying to yourself. How much judgment and limits are you imposing on yourself? Now, I can see here that the truth behind why this is all necessary is because we are looking into the future. We are looking into the future to see how we can be of service, what is our purpose, and how are we going to be of service in service of the light. What is our role going to be? And I can see that this is challenging you. This is challenging you right now because you're not sure. Not all of the information has been received. You are sort of being asked to take a leap of faith here to understand that regardless of the path forward, what needs to heal now is you. You need to heal yourself. And by healing yourself, you are healing the world. You are connecting to source in a way that will reverberate and mirror your healing to the rest of the universe. And so truly, by healing ourselves, it's not a selfish act. It is a loving act that we do for all the energy around us. So you are really being guided here, light workers, on a path of healing, of withdrawing, of introversion, of really understanding the self under this new idea that we are not going to be negative with ourselves. We are not going to judge ourselves. We are not going to limit ourselves. We are not going to approach life through that 3D lens that's full of illusions. We're going to see past those illusions and really see the spirit, see God, see source, whatever words you like. You will see it in everything you touch and see and do. And it will just become a new set of truth for you. It's going to flip everything upside down. It's a new set of truth, one that is based on self-love and healing the past, not just for yourself, but potentially for your ancestral line. You could be breaking patterns all over the place here. You could have very auspicious actions without even realizing it. Your very kindness to others, your very acts of generosity could be creating ripples that you couldn't even imagine that you are setting these ripples off. Now, the action you're being directed to take, wow, it's the first card that's not in reverse. The action you're being directed to take here, my light workers, is to revisit some of these old stories. These cards are very specific. You are being guided to look back and heal some old timelines and old stories so that you're no longer defining yourself by these experience moments or emotions. I mean, if you're healing old wounds and old stories, how are you coming out in these stories? Are you telling the story like, oh, I was victimized very deeply? Or are you telling the story that that's how I learned to love myself? That experience taught me how to love myself. That experience taught me how to break free. Instead of focusing on one aspect of the story where you were victimized, why not focus on the fact that this experience taught you to love yourself and that it will never be that way again? You know, it's interesting how we choose to focus on storylines, my friends. I just want to relight these candles as I'm speaking. It's interesting how we change the point of the story once we've healed, right? There are so many stories that used to start with, oh, that took me down, you know. Oh, talk about a moment where, you know, I realized I truly didn't have any self-confidence, or, you know, a moment where I realized I didn't love myself, or a moment when I allowed someone to treat me in a certain way that showed me I didn't love myself. I don't know why I keep going back to loving myself. I think it's because maybe my light workers need to hear this right now, but you've got to change that story so that the way you tell it to yourself and to others, and the way you use it to inspire other people, is that you learn to love yourself through this. You met yourself. You were introduced to your true self. So the action you're being directed to take, again, the only upright card here, is to revisit the past to understand it in a new way, which is going to change your belief system about yourself and the way you look at the future. Very, very interesting. Now, the final guidance here is judgment in reverse. Now, when I see judgment in reverse, that makes me think that there is a difficult transition ahead. Now, this really is about resisting a transition. You could be thinking, I might just call it a day. Like you could be tempted to take sort of a stance where you're going to refuse to hear spirit calling you. You may feel like in order to go forward, you have to lose a lot of stuff, and you're not willing to lose. Maybe you're feeling that delays and confusion could arise from this transformation, and you're not about that right now. You could also be feeling like if you go through with this, that it's going to be really difficult because the people that are in your life, you're going to have to try and convince them of the new you, and that's going to be really difficult. And that there could be you could be met with some opposition. to put it lightly. So in your mind right now, light workers, the final guidance card for you is to, be wary of this temptation to resist the transformation. Abandoning your cause now, this sort of fleeing, it's happening because the way your comfort zone and the status quo is being threatened right now. The security of your old way of thinking is being you're being asked to release that way of thinking and to adopt a new way of thinking. So it's very interesting here, because to see judgment in reverse really makes me think that my light workers are transforming rapidly right now, and that this is happening almost at a pace where the only thing you're really comfortable with is looking at the past. But why? That's what I want to clarify. If you're not healing the past while you're looking at it, what are you doing in the past, my light worker? Are you just being nostalgic and reminiscent and looking at things that were pleasing to the ego maybe, but now it's becoming clear that they were illusions. They were illusions. And it's like the emotion of that. Keep in mind, this is the only cups we see here. We have swords and wand. And then we have this 6 of cup out of nowhere, very upright in the position of action. So the action you are being guided to take so that you can heal. The way this spread that I do works is that the 4th card explains the 2nd card, and the 3rd card explains the 1st card. And the last card is the guidance overall. And so the explanation, the truth, or the action, behind this healing that needs to be done is something in the past. We have to revisit some old wounds. Now, what's going on here with the 6 of Cups? What does my light worker need to release? The Page of Cups. You need to stop resisting transformation. It's almost like you are really strongly identified with some stuff that happened in the past in the realm of emotion, and you're not quite ready to release it. Why? Why? Oh boy, yes, because it really fed your ego and you had so much faith in it, and it was not what you thought it would be. You went into it with this beautiful Page of Cups energy. You discovered it was only going to feed your ego, and that was an illusion. And so that is the truth of why you need to look at the past. There is something in the past that needs to be released. Like seeing the Devil card and then the Star card in reverse, that really tells me, like, especially seeing the Star card in reverse, it's like this idea that you're not quite understanding the true source of your inspiration, and you may be losing touch with it. And so it's like a clarity of vision is lacking. There's a clarity that's lacking right now. And it's almost time, to withdraw from the public. You need to withdraw and be on your own to rediscover this, right? There is something in your life right now that is ego-driven, that's devaluing your skills, talents, and efforts. And it has something to do with a past interaction that you have not fully released yet, or have not fully understood yet. You're only looking at it from one perspective still. And it's like, by doing so, that's taking your power. It's taking it. You might feel drained. You're feeling like your imagination may be drying up. It's like you're having it's like the spiritual work and the real life work are at odds with each other. And so it's like, it's like you're really starting to understand the illusions around this past story that you have not let go of yet, that may be causing a delay or a resistance. It's a resistance. It's causing a resistance to the path forward. You've got to go back to the past here. What about this Four of Swords? What does my light worker need to understand from this past experience? And they're being guided to revisit it. Page of Wands. Well, that's about really understanding the passion. You need to re-look at this situation from the past so that you can heal it and release it. Because, my dear light worker, you have something far, far more connected to pay attention to. We see the Emperor, which is Aries energy, with that Page of Wands. And then we see, again, this hanging on vibe. But your fortunes are going to turn if you evaluate it. It's almost like you need to look at it through the lens of... you need to look at it through the lens of the Emperor in terms of, were you standing in your authority in this past position? This past storyline that you need to heal, I am more and more convinced that it victimized you. It victimized you and you need to heal from it, but it's challenging you. It's challenging you to heal from it. Why? Wherein lies the challenge here? Is it because my light worker has been identifying themselves with this trauma? Is it trauma bonding? Are you trauma bonded? Let's see. Ace of Pentacles. You could be. Yep. This could be still here because you have so much so identified yourself with the trauma. It has become your I am statement. It has become your I am statement. And it's a dangerous I am statement to hold because you're not a victim. You're not a victim. Anything in this world that appears as an obstacle or a challenge is an illusion. It is just there to push you further. It's not real. And what happened to you was real. I'm not suggesting that what happened to you wasn't real, but it's not, it didn't happen to break you. It didn't happen to break you. It happened to wake you. It happened to wake you into this new version of yourself that's a light worker who's going to serve others with their light. And that is the reframing that we see in this reading that needs to happen. We need to grow and we need to be open. Healing old wounds and old stories. I just can't get over that the first line in both of these cards, heal old wounds, heal old stories. You know, the soul is ever present. Restore your connection to spirit because it's waning. This star card in reverse says that your connection to spirit is sort of taking a back seat to this nostalgia vibe where you're reminiscing about something and it keeps looping, but it's looping in the way that pleases the ego, not the spirit. You need to please the Ace of Wands here, this Page of Wands. We need to feel inspired. We need to start daydreaming about the future. Seeing Judgment in reverse suggests that we are resisting our transformation. Oh boy. Okay, well, we see the Tower, so that does confirm that you're resisting it. But we see the Eight of Wands, so that says go for it. Stop resisting it. Face the truth that all of the truth around you, all of these illusions that are crumbling down, these are just illusions to keep you, you know, pushing to find yourself. So it's funny sometimes how it works, but you know, sometimes you're presented with situations that challenge the idea of your imagination to push you to go for your imagination. And I know that seems a little bit hard to understand, but right now it's like you've got to face the truths that are around you. Instead of resisting them, allow them to come in. Allow them to come in and see how that will impact everything. Yeah, the way you're thinking about the future right now, my friends, is worst case scenario. You see that a new cycle is starting, but you're like, I can't do this. I can't do this. What? Yeah, you have, again, when we see the Star card in reverse, we see Judgment in reverse, Tower in reverse. You are having a lack of confidence. You don't believe that this could be you. It's almost like you think, well, I can't be a light worker. That's got to be for certain people, not me, you know. And if you found your way to this reading, okay, and it's resonating for you, I've got to say, I mean, most of the people who watch my channel seem to be people who are waking up. And this is consistent with that. There is a lack of inner joy right now for you, because as you think about the future, you're just scared. You're scared and you don't want to get up. You don't even want to get up and look at it. You don't even want to get up and look at it, but that's not fair. What's happening right now, you're not being fair to yourself. You're not being fair to yourself. Yeah. And we need to start manifesting by releasing this idea that you'll never be happy and that you'll never have enough. You need solitude, hermit energy. We really keep seeing this need to withdraw from others in order to heal, so that once you're ready, you can defend your authentic self, right? You won't feel like the opinions of others even matter. So it won't even be defending. You're just going to stand in your authenticity, which is one of the messages from this card. It says, be open, be authentic. So you will. But it's almost like you have to pass through this timeline in July 1st to really understand yourself from a new lens by visiting the past. But be careful not to get trapped in defining yourself, okay, through negative self-talk and personal judgment. You don't limit yourself. You want to be limitless. You are limitless. Now, let's see, for my light workers here, what would be something that would encourage and aid my light workers? Draw your story. Okay, so what that tells me is that it's time to really start envisioning. Look at her with that beautiful blue light coming from her third eye. She is creating her reality as she is being sort of guided to it by spirit. And so this is beautiful. This literally could, if you want to take it very literally, you could start by working on a vision board. You could start a dream journal, a gratitude journal, anything you noticed in terms of synchronicities. While you're healing this old story, keep a journal so that you can revisit some of this stuff and start imagining and manifesting this path forward. We saw the magician. It's just right now, you're healing. And in order to heal this, we need to revisit and re-envision based on what we discover about ourselves. This story that you're visioning in the past was not designed to keep you down. It was designed to inspire your wake up. Yeah. Go back and refresh. There's something in the past that my light workers need to revisit. You need to revisit, and you need to look at it with the eyes of love and compassion and forgiveness. This could be holding you back, my beautiful light workers. There's something in the past that you need to forgive. You need to go back and see it from a different perspective. See it from Spirit's perspective. What was that experience really designed to teach you? It was not designed to break you. It was designed to teach you something. What was it designed to teach you? Yeah, you need to raise your frequency. This is going to help. You have to start doing some self-work where you revisit the past, but in a different way. Not in a way that limits you, in a way that enhances your frequency. This is going to be different for everyone, how you do this. But, I mean, I would really suggest that you should start with the self-talk. The self-talk. What are the messages you're saying to yourself on a daily basis? What are the things that you truly believe about yourself? It's time to let them go. It's time to release those things. Go back and refresh. Okay? It's time to refresh and review things again with the eyes of love. Now, your final guidance card. Oh boy, it's beautiful. Trust in the plan. Trust in the plan, my beautiful light workers, and family of light on the bottom of the deck. So this is a beautiful channeled message for my light workers. You are You are being guided by your family of light, and you just need to trust in the plan. And believe me when I say whatever you've endured in the past, it was not meant to break you. And if you feel at all identified with the victim storyline, you have to look at transmuting that experience to see what it taught you about yourself. Why was it important to go through that? You have to trust in the plan, my dear light workers. Okay? You have a family of light guiding you, watching you, protecting you, and directing you. They will never direct you somewhere to break you. Even if it's an experience that as a human with emotions will be difficult, it's meant to transmute something, transform you. Oh, that's a beautiful message for July. Okay, my lovely light workers, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. If you would like a personal reading, my email's in the description below. Okay, sending lots of love and light for you in July, my light workers.